The third bike of the four is the S1000 XR, which you can find in the sports section of the BMW website. This is an adventure tourer with a sportier element. Now the mission statement from BMW is this. Prepared it here, some preparation you see, so I do put some effort into making these videos. Give it a thumbs up, show your appreciation, really appreciate that. So the mission statement, quote, a bike that combines athleticism and long distance performance in perfect form. Will this bike be my favourite of the four? Let's have a look at some of the stats. The base model comes in at £16,790. This 4-cylinder inline power unit, derived from the proven S1000RR, is going to pack some punch at 165 brake horsepower. The bike has an upright relaxed seating position similar to the GS model. The S1000 XR is a water-cooled 999cc, 114 Nm of maximum torque at 9,250 revs per minute. The bike has 6-speed synchromesh gearbox, it's chain driven with an aluminium bridge frame. Fuel consumption per BMW is 6.2 litres per 100 kilometres or 38 miles per gallon. Upside down telescopic fork at the front and an aluminium double-sided swing arm at the back with a central string strut. A single 265mm disc with a twin piston floating caliper at the rear and a twin 320mm floating disc at the front with a radial 4-piston fixed caliper.
Now I know this 2023 model did have some criticism for its seat hardness, and straight away off the bat I would say, since I took it out from Northampton and then after 20 minutes, half an hour, you can feel the flatness of it. There's not much padding in there. Now I know the 2024 model, which has just been released, the seat has been changed, they've addressed that issue, it's longer and wider. The windshield is dead easy to use, you just pull that lever back and it goes up and forward and it goes down, that's what you want, just like that. I'll leave it in the up position. You're not going to be completely buffeted free. It's coming onto my head and it's ricocheting off the top of my head. It's not too bad, but the 2024 model, I've read that that has been revised as well, along with some of the aerodynamics at the front. So let's see what the brakes are like. I'm going 40 miles an hour. Yes, very, very good brakes there. And obviously you can feel the suspension is a bit tighter. It's all firmed up everywhere. All the mapping's changed for that dynamic element of the engine. It would be ideal for a track day in dynamic mode. Just a little twist of the throttle. Away she goes, not a problem. What's it like getting it on its centre stand? Let's have a look. Yeah, I noticed the lightness, the difference in the lightness, straight up onto its centre stand, no problem.
I love the look of the XR, it's a fantastic looking bike, but I did wonder whether putting a sports S1000RR retuned engine onto a touring type bike was a bit of a confliction of interest. The handling, suspension and acceleration was awesome on the XR. Just a blip of the throttle and you could just get past traffic, no problem. It was exhilarating and you could feel that power underneath the tank. Now this video is just about 4 bikes that I rode over the course of the 4 weeks, and I think the XR is a good choice to have available for people if they prefer that aspect of having this sportier engine there. But for me personally, I think the GS and the range and the fact that it can go off-road as well, I think I would be sort of more swayed to go down that route as opposed to a sportier, faster adventure tour, where you're going to have to be fueling up a bit more often. So that's the reason why I think I'd probably side more with the GS. So coming up, the last bike, the F900R Super Naked. Which bike will I prefer out of the 4? And also I'll reveal whether I traded in the Gixxer 1400 for the Ducati Monster.
Right, we're going 37 here, so that's a bit of a twist to the accelerator and You can get past cars quite easily. Just let's give it some beans. Straight up to 60 plus with a twist of the throttle there. Really is quite pokey. Nice dry bend there, so lovely around the bends.
I've had it for a couple of days, and I will say I'm beginning to get accustomed to it and used to the characteristics of the bike, and I'm starting to like the bike. It's and I think it visually looks a really nice looking bike, doesn't it? It's a street naked roadster bike, obviously. What do you think? The power unit is an 895cc 4-stroke inline 2-cylinder, a sporty roadster from BMW, with a wet weight of 211 kilograms or 465 pounds and a punchy 105 HP and a maximum torque of 92 newton meters at 6,500 revs per minute. Trust me, this feisty roadster has more than enough power for its deceptive small chunky size. The bike comes with 6-speed electronic ignition with Euro 5 compliant exhaust on the back. BMW quote the top speed of 216 km an hour or 134 miles per hour. A fuel tank capacity of 13 litres or 3.4 gallons and a range of 4.2 litres per 100 kilometres or around 150 miles depending on how you ride the bike, of course. Chain driven, so you'll have some chain maintenance to do there over the course of its ownership. The chassis is a bridge type frame. The suspension at the front, we have an upside down telescopic fork. Suspension at the back, we have a cast aluminium dual swing arm, a central string strut, spring preload, hydraulically adjustable and rebound damping adjustment. The bike has all round 17-inch cast aluminium wheels with a 120/70 at the front and a fat 180/55 at the rear of the bike. We have two 320mm floating brake discs at the front with a 4-piston radial brake caliper. Back brake is a single 265mm disc and a single piston floating caliper. Now, as with the all-important seat heights, let me tell you, this bike comes with no more than 6 seat height options ranging from 770mm, that's 30 inches, with the optional extra suspension lowering kit, right up to the optional extra of the high seat at 865mm. For the standard price in racing red with just the standard specification, the bike costs just over £9,000.
It is very sporty little bike, this F900R. Now you can get a screen with the F900R, and I would definitely get a screen because there is a lot of wind chill. Okay, it's winter, you're getting a wind chill factor here, and your knees are exposed at the side of the bike. There's no fairing that comes over your knees, so you do get a lot of wind on your knees and lower leg as well, and obviously your upper torso. It feels a little bit like I'm on the back of a bull, and but this bike's more poised and it's quite precise in terms of its front wheel placement and its steering. Wherever you point it, that's where it's going to go. There's no unpredictability about it. So I've ridden the bike back from Northamptonshire, and what I would say about the seat and the comfortability is it's not that comfortable. It feels actually like I'm sitting on an ironing board with a little bit of padding on. So I imagine if I had to go long distance touring on this bike, my bum is going to get a little bit sore after a while. The ergonomics on the bike, the seating position, it's quite comfortable. It's quite a relaxed upright sitting position. My back is bent slightly forward, leaning into the dash a little bit, not too much though, not as much as my GS where you tend to sit back in an upright position. It is a sporty roadster, so you're not going to get the sponginess of an adventure tour, which I'm used to. Going over these bumps here, you can feel the bumps in the road quite obviously, going up through my spine. Easy to handle around these little villages. There's not a lot of weight with the bike. It's quite light and nimble. You can see they just throw it from left to right.
Evidence of a full-on GPS acceleration and top speed was recorded by Mototop YouTuber using a Draghi performance meter on the F900R on the German Autobahn in 2003 last year. Unbelievably, he clocked a 0 to 100 km an hour in 3.3 seconds and a top speed of 229 km an hour or 142 miles per hour.
Anyway, let's see how she goes off the start. Wow, yeah, very, very quick indeed. Get up to about 50 miles an hour. I think it's about right. Right, let's try these brakes. Oh, yeah, very good. When you know you've got Brembo brakes, you know you've got that safe stopping power. But yeah, very good.
I'd say even without the adaptive headlight, the LED headlight sufficiently lights up the side of the road as well, as you can see here. This bike quickly became an easy to ride fun middleweight that seemed to have more power than what its data suggested. Excellent torque, handling and quality component parts from BMW made this super naked for me a thrill to ride. My only regret is that I'd love to have taken the F900 on a track day.
So which bike did you pick of the four? I think for me in hindsight the F900R would be a great Sunday ride or a track day or going to work, commuting. The powerfulest of all the bikes because it's super naked, it's minimalist, there's no weight with it, there's no fairing. So I think I would choose that bike for that sort of activity. The S1000 XR also very powerful, but it just conflicted with me a little bit because it's on that engine is on an adventure tourer bike. So I'd like to go long distance, so I think it would be more fuelage, and so that's why I opted not to pick the S1000 XR. The R1300 GS, the new one, great tech on that on the new bike, lighter by 20 kilograms, and the radar pack. I would love the radar pack on the GS 1250. For me, I can't justify buying another GS 3 years later, paying for what I would want all the accessories. It's going to be up in the region of £22,000–23,000. So that leads me to the R1250 GS. For me, that does everything I need it to. Off on road, looks fantastic, looks the best I think of all the four bikes, so I'm going to stick with that. And then the last thing to talk about is, did I trade my 1400 in for that Ducati Monster? And here's what I did. So I just couldn't get rid of the old beauty, the K1 1400 GSX first edition. Such a beautiful bike and sounds fantastic, those Scorpion exhausts. Maybe if I get a bigger garage, there'll be room for a Monster as well. Thanks for watching, take care for now.